where we have Sean Langfield with his 4-1 kill rig list. So let me take a look at him. Let me get rid of some of these tabs I have open. There we go. So for Sean's list, he was at the GUTI Majestic Beasties 5. This was 70% people at this event, and this was in, I should have looked at this already. Canada. So this was actually in Canada. Aaron, you were here. Just kidding. So here at this event, he did end up going into the 4th bracket because he lost his first game. But overall, I just want to take a look at him because he still ended up going 4-1, and because he still brought the love of the kill rig. And you know, a lot of the time, people want to know what's going on with the kill rigs. And then I think this is, what we're looking at today is a good example of kill rig can very much lead you to winning several games just running the combo of 2 to 3 kill rigs, 2 to 3 beast snouts, beast bosses with beast Snagga boys can just break the backs of so many different armies and be very pivotal into winning and giving you that latent power. That being said, you just run into some hard matchups like we've seen before, and we'll be looking at today with this very first matchup that Mr. Sean had to deal with. But as for his lift, pretty bread and butter, we have Mozrog Skragbad, 2 war bosses. Boom. That's it for characters. My boy went lean and mean here. 3 10-man units of beast Snagga boys, no beast bosses in sight. 2 10-man unit of boys, a 10-man unit of flash goods, 3 minimum size units of Gretchen, 3 units of kill rigs, and then 1 Squighog Boy brick, full kitted out, 8 models deep, 3 individual trucks to escort all these individual boys and flash kits around. So my boy's running around this battlefield with 6 transports and then kill rigs, no infiltration, no scout, just war hording out. One thing I would say here, maybe chat, you guys can say too, why is this not into hunt? I can give you reasons why I don't think, and I can make the argument here. Why do you guys think he didn't choose the hunt? Would you have chosen the hunt? It's kind of sad that you don't, right? When you see so many rigs and pigs on the list that your people still won't bring it. That being said, this is all killy boys. This is that kind of list that you're like, you know what? This is just straight up stats. I'm gonna run you down and crump you up. This is what people expect and hope from orcs when they line up against them. Shout out to our sponsors, the Baron of Dice, as they helped us do our Waaaghtaktiks dice. So shout them out. Check them out in description, 5% off in the discount because nobody likes taxes. And shout out to Baron of Dice. They allow us to do our paint competition. So thank you very much to them. That being said, he had to deal with a somewhat annoying, problematic matchup list the first game, which is the Tau Empire. So, very first round, this is where he ended up losing. He ended up going into Tau Kayon. So I do have some data sheets over here that we can take a look at to kind of break this down a little bit. Kayun gets sustained after battle round 3, and then if you're spotted, you get sustained 2. So we have Kamado Shadow Sun, followed by Urethral, not urethra, or maybe that. They give 5 of Fiona pain to unit they're in a breacher team or strike squad team. They can gain CP. I've seen people just put these guys in reserve and just bring them off this battlefield edge to score secondaries. That might be a thing they do as well. Then you get a strike squad, another strike squad, followed by 2 units of broadside battle suits, 2 bricks of Sunforged battle suits, which I'll show you those real quick. So I'm sure you've been seeing them around. What are these guys? These guys are essentially flying eradicators. When they target vehicles and monsters, they get to reroll wounds and they get to reroll damage. They get fusion melt up 2 on 2s, strength 9 minus 4 d6 damage. And then there's 3 of them in the unit, moving 10 inches with the 4 up invuln. So of course those guys are getting position on kill rigs and trucks and give them a hard time. 3 units of stealth, 2 units of Riptide battle suits. So these Riptide battle suits, super annoying to deal with for your Squighog boys, right? They have ion accelerators that can be overcharged to strength 8, minus 3, flat damage 4. They can get devastating wounds one time, then they shoot. They can ignore all modifiers to the hit roll, which won't matter for us necessarily when you're, that won't help with artist nails. But they also can shoot when they fall back. They do have a 2 armor save and a 4 up invuln and a respectable amount of wounds. So they can even kind of try to withhold one of your charges sometimes. And they don't just fall over outside of that. They do get plasma rifle shot as well with twin link. And just between all that firepower, besides the battle suits, they also have a ghost keel, 2 hammerhead gunships, both with rail guns, and then 2 individual piranhas. They're like these little vehicles that kind of throw themselves up the field. Really good for move blocking trucks, really good for move blocking Squighog boys. They're respectable size, and they make you take battle shock. I believe like at the end of the movement or the beginning of shooting, I'm not sure. But they can end up making you take battle shock on like a Squighog boy unit. then you fail it and you can't even hard as nails with them. So that would be really, really problematic too, because you get picked up even easier. So yeah, that being said, you could see how this would be a tough matchup. All the stealth suits infiltrating to create a line, so your rigs and your trucks have nowhere to go, and then you're pretty much running into railguns, you're running into riptides, you're running into hammerheads, you're running into ghost kills, you're running into sunforged battle suits with rerolled wounds and damage. So that's what I'm talking about when I think of kill rigs. Is kill rigs are definitely playable to just straight up win games, stat check people, run guys over, stage up and wall, all those things. But there's just straight up armies that know how to move block you and then blow you away. Talent Empire being one of those. So Sean, no shame there. You just don't literally, you chose to wall out. You brought the pigs, didn't have the tools for it. Just happens. I'm sure you know that when you make that kind of list, right? You're like, I just didn't bring the tools. But if you ever wonder why people do say bring infiltrators and scouts and stuff like that, is because if you don't have something like those tools, you simply have no answers to some matchups. So let's take a look at the rest of his matchups, because as you can see here, he scored huge. He ended up winning his bracket after this, and pretty much getting very, very, very high scores after that. So even though, yes, the kill rigs did fail him round one, and he got pretty much blown off the table with Tau Empire guns, he was able to pull out 4 wins right after that, which still feels really good and is a successful day out of at a GT, if you ask me. So his second matchup is Gladius Task Force Dark Angels. He had to deal with Ezreal, Apothecary Biologist, Chaplain, and Terminator armor. It was 6 aggressors, a Deathwing Terminator squad, another Deathwing Terminator squad, and then another Deathwing. So 3 Deathwing Terminator squads, an Eradicator, 2 Infiltrators, Scouts, and then a Vanguard with jump back, followed by 2 Gladiator Lancers. It's pretty much just, can you deal with Deathwing Knight Terminators? I'll tell you what, having auto hitting last cannons from your kill rigs makes that matchup vastly different than if you're just running at it with straight damage too. This is one of those games you have to remember just to continue the momentum. You still have a ton of moral seed in them. They aren't one-shotting, your kill rigs. If you charge them into the Deathwing Knights, you can pull them away from your other units so they don't punch away your boys fast enough. So really the main problem here for if I gotta kill something quickly, if I don't want something to kill me quickly, is this aggressor squad. Together this aggressor squad and everything else kind of just doesn't play the mission as well anymore. And of course, this big brick of Vanguard jump packs, right? But you're playing Warhorde, baby. You ready to fight on death. So then let's take a look at, because he got 100 points there for Dark Angels. Let's think about his third matchup, which he goes to, and no, the Big Mac does not screen all, does not clear all screening issues. No, some of them, yes, but not all. If he could charge through enemy screens, he would. But because he has to simply move or advance, it's not as easy. So then he goes into his third matchup, where he goes into Awakened Dynasty Necron. So we have a Chronomancer, Luminar Caesaris. This super, super cancerous, this guy. Funny we lost Mozrog, but he still exists, right? With the 4 Feel No Pain, giving his army, as battle line units additional AP and reducing AP, and an aura. He's infantry with 2 of armor save and a 4 of invul. Love it. We have an Overlord with a translucent shroud. 2 of those guys, a Royal Warden, which is super slept on because for 4 points, he allows your immortals to fall back and shoot. And then a Scorpack Lord. Scorpacks are making their appearance again. 1 big brick of immortals, followed by a Reanimator, 2 units of Death Marks, 3 Doomsday Arcs, a Flayed 1 unit, 2 units of Lichguard, and then a Scorpack Destroyer, because these guys are making their comeback. Respectable volume, they get dev wounds, they can get rerolls to punt fighting and stuff like that. Aren't too scary for Orcs. Again, we're seeing the Lich Guards. Lich Guards coming back into the game, but Doomsday Arc are something you gotta be very, very aware of, my boys. Very aware of. As for what's going on here, you're gonna take the Chronomancer, Luminor Caesaris, the Royal Warden, and you're gonna stick them near each other for their mortals, so you can get more potent firepower from the immortals. So good volume coming from just that immortal list. Be careful of that. And then all the Doomsday Arc, they have flat 4 damage, strength 14 weapons, and then a volume of strength 4, I think, lethal weapon. So just know that they're coming out to play. Orc players very much coming out to play. You're gonna see a lot of Doomsday Arc making all the way out of their appearance. For the most part, they do have very low toughness. And they rely on their invuln a lot. So having volume of beast Snagga boys, kill rigs to run them down and punch them, squigs, eat them alive. You do have to kind of play either full on KG, because the Doomsday can hurt your kill rig so bad. But in my opinion, I most of the time, depending on the mission, I'm gonna say run these boys down. Because they can kill one kill rig, but they're not killing all your kill rigs. The 6-up field no pain throws off their math. And really the best way to always deal with Necrons is to straight aggression them off the table, try to full one shot their units and try to tag them as they can't do the shenanigans and fall back a lot of the times. And you know, you want to stage up to like one shot their units like Scorpex destroyers, you know, if you can, the Lich Guard tagging the transport the Doom Arcs. But right here he ended up getting another big win with a 98-point win there. Then we go into his fourth matchup, which was Grey Knights. Grey Knights do not like seeing triple kill rigs for a couple of reasons. So we have Brotherhood Librarian, followed by Castling Crow, Nemesis Dread Knight, Caldor Duego. We have one unit of Terminators, followed by 3 units of Strike Squads, 3 units of Inceptors, just 5 more units, and then a small unit of Paladins, followed by a big unit of Purifiers. This is like an MSU version of Grey Knights. I don't think that's where Grey Knights should really head. I think Paladins are super slept on if you bring a big brick of them. Hard for people to kind of displace them and bunch of Dread Knights. But it seems like Grey Knight players are kind of tired of that. That archetype's kind of fallen away. So kill rigs feel really good, my boys. What can I say? You know, we've seen how they got run over by something like Tau, but not having 3 kill rigs in a matchup like this is a hugely, you know, a vastly different experience than running, let's say, just a bunch of trucks, right? Of course, in trucks, these guys don't have good potential to popping them, so you can still kind of stage up and charge into them. But kill rigs allow you to be like, oh, I'm just gonna overwatch your Strike Marines. Oh, I'm just gonna overwatch your Terminators. Oh, I'm just gonna shoot your Terminators because you're standing over there and I can auto hit you. Haha. Something that, you know, they don't really have to ever experience with going into orcs, and orcs don't really have as an answer for their 2-up armor saves, you know, and stuff like that. So it feels really, really good. A lot of the time, again, just like we're talking about with Necrons, you got to put high pressure into this. You're running 3 kill rigs. I know kill rigs aren't like super, super durable where you can just throw them in the middle of the table and they'll survive. But you throw 3 of them at people, knowing that they're going to kill at least one, and then you just get in their face with the other ones. That's really what you got to do. It's a stat check. And when you're running into Grey Knights, they can't really deal with that stat check because they don't deal with vehicles. Kill rigs do have a good enough toughness, and they have a 6-up feel no pain and a lot of wounds for 155 points. So if they focus on your kill rigs by any means, then everything else just kind of gets to freely run off the table. Take advantage of that. Then we go into his last matchup where he goes into Dark Angels again, and this is the Stormlands Task Force. So we have Asriel, Samuel, Chaplain on jetpack on bike. I mean, another Chaplain on bike, and then a Tech Marine on bike. That one's a legend. That's weird. Intercessors followed by Outriders, another Outrider, Ravenwing squad, and then 3 land speeders, a Ravenwing Dark Shroud, and then a very cool. You know, I'm sure this guy was catching people off guard all over the table, maybe throwing up high scores, being fast maneuverable. But boy, you hate to see it when you're going into 6 transports where once you pop them, the stuff inside gets out, beats the crap out of you, beats you out on OC, then walls into you and holds you in place. So shout out to Mr. Sean Langfield for going 4-1 in Canada. Shout out to the triple kill rigs. Whoa! Because the kill rigs might not lead you to being undefeated and winning your whole GT, but I'll tell you what, they'll help you get up that win-loss ratio real quick with that super effective cheap stat check. Let's go over this list one more time. We have Mozrog Skragbad, 2 war bosses, 3 10-man units of Beast Snagga Boys, 2 10-man units of Boys, a flash kit, 3 10-man units of Gretchen, 3 kill rigs, a brick of Squighog Boyz, then 3 individual trucks. I do like that Moz allows you to fight on death, and once your squigs are kind of dead, you still have to deal with Moz. I still think that's a little bit slept on. Sadly, Moz isn't as potent as he used to be, but that is always, you know, gonna feel good when they kill all your pigs, and then you have just Moz stand there like, "What's up? I still gotta feel no pain to 4-up invul," and you're like, the enemy still doesn't like that. So everything here, what I like about his army is he runs into you with rigs and trucks. You kill all these transports, and then it's just a bunch of bodies, like a bunch of 10-man bricks bodies fall out with 2 OC, and then you still have all the pigs that are running you down after that as well. You kill all that, and then by that time it's turn 4 and you've lost out on scoring. So love to see it, Sean. Really straightforward and linear. I think some people could just understand that, yeah, kill rigs have a lot of flaws, but sometimes bringing enough of them for this point cost is just a straight stat check. And they give you so many utility and tools that you don't simply have with other orcs, because kill rigs are more of a support unit than, you know, the outright killing and back in you know, all comers slash problem solvers to everything on your list, right? They don't solve every problem you have. They don't deal with every enemy and bad matchup that you have, but they give you options, and options gives you, at least a chance to come out on top, which that's all we need as an ARC player, right? So shout out to Sean Whoa for his Great WAAAGH and War Horde going 4-1. If you enjoyed the clip, check out the full video here. If you'd like to see more tactics, click here.
Let's get stuck in, lads!